Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 news report. The headline news comes from Florian Plettenberg, and that's that Southampton have made a counter offer to Everton over Tyler Dibling. Everton can accept this offer at any time, which would trigger the deal. I think this was mentioned a little while ago. I think this is around £50 million. There was rumours that they wanted between, I think it was 55 to 65 million euros. 55 would be around 47 million pounds if I remember looking correctly. So it would add up to about what Southampton want. I do apologise, by the way, if you can hear the fan in the background. I've tried to put it on the lowest setting, but it's very warm. I can't film this video without it on, if I'm going to be really honest. No real surprise with the Dibling saga. We've got another report here from Peter O'Rourke that says Everton are expected to return for Tyler Dibling with an improved offer in the near future, and then two quotes from Will Still. The first one was, "I think as long as he's here, he'll be involved, but we just need to make sure that he's getting the right headspace and committed to what we're doing." And then he also said, if that's not the case, over the next couple of days, if he wants to be part of it and wants to be involved, then he will be, but ultimately it's pretty much down to him. This is the thing, what I've said about Southampton. I said this on the last thing. They don't really hold much power with the division they're in. I understand he's under contract, but I find it very unlikely that Southampton would say no to a bid of around £45 million and then turn around and not play Dibling for the rest of the season. I think it's a position where we're going to go back in and Dibling's going to end up an Everton player. Or if we leave, I think someone else comes in, maybe a Brentford, since they were looking at Amari Hutchinson. When the Wissam money comes in, maybe Brentford go in and slide in, try to get him. I do think we should get him as soon as possible. I'll look at someone like Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle, who I think is a pretty bang average winger, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'd much rather get the winger who's not far off of Jacob Ramsey's current ability right now, but has the potential to be so much better. Still only 19, very good player. I think hopefully over the next couple of days some Dibling news comes out, but with other news that's come out, I can imagine the priority may shift a little bit in the position we look to sign. Wayne Vasey of Football Insider reported that Everton have submitted a £37 million bid for Roma striker Artem DOVBYK. He's keen on a move to England. We ran a poll about this on the Twitter. If you ever want to participate, it's at Everton Newsfeed. But it's Artem DOVBYK to Everton. Leave us your thoughts. 49% of fans said that they would take him. 29% of fans said that they would not take him. 28% of fans said that they are unsure, and 22% said that they wouldn't. That's from 3,770 votes. So thank you for everyone that did take the time to vote. DOVBYK's an interesting one, 12 goals and 2 assists for Roma last season, but it was the 23-24 season for Girona where he really shone and broke through, scoring 24 goals with 8 assists, and I believe that is just in the league, 32 goal contributions. DOVBYK's a really good striker, but this, and I'm going to add this up with our next bit of news here as well, Dusan Vlahovic has rejected offers from Everton and West Ham, according to Corriere dello Sport. I feel like these are little bits of late news again that came out, similar to the John McGinn saga a couple of days ago. I think it's one where we may have gone in for these players previously before we signed Tieno Barry, but since Barry's come in, I don't see why we'd bring in DOVBYK or Vlahovic unless Beto was on his way out of the door, and we haven't heard any news about that potentially happening with Beto yet, so I think this is really unreliable. And plus, I can't see why we'd spend £27 million on Barry to be a backup, to be honest with you. Plus, I think Vlahovic probably ends up at a club in Europe, to be honest. Same with DOVBYK if he left as well, to be honest. The next bit of news comes from Rob Dorset, and it's that Everton are currently unwilling to meet Leicester's demands for Abdul FATAWU. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced that. The two clubs are very divided on valuation, and Everton are now considering their options. Good. We shouldn't be overpaying for players. If we have a set value in mind, we shouldn't be diving in. It's what got us in trouble in the first place. I understand that sometimes you just have to pay the valuation if you believe the player's that good, but if we've got a set valuation and we don't believe he's worth more than that, we shouldn't be paying more than that. I think Fatawu's very talented, but I think he probably needs another season in the Championship, to be honest with you, just because of his ACL injury. He needs time to get back suited to football, or maybe just a couple of months and then someone comes in for him in January, to be honest. I think he needs to play some consistent first-team football, and then clubs may come in for him for the price Leicester wants in January if he's ripping up the Championship like he did 2 seasons ago. I think he's a real talented player. I'd love him at Everton, but I am glad to see that we're not just diving in to pay what any club wants nowadays, because I think it's one where, yeah, it was a long time ago under a much worse regime that got us in this trouble, but that doesn't mean even with a good regime we can't get in said trouble again, especially with PSR. The next bit of news is unfortunately some sad news. Everton defender Jared Branthwaite has suffered a hamstring injury in training. He's rumoured to be out for about 4 weeks. I think this really presses our priority to sign a right back, because there's no world where either Michael Keane or Nathan Patterson should be playing starting football for us. Both are not at this level. Michael Keane as a 4th choice centre back is okay, but you know, he's 3rd choice if O'Brien ends up playing out at right back. I really think the club should be pushing to sign a right back in the next coming days. Even if it's someone like James Justin who'll just play a rotational role, I'd much rather have that than Patterson. I'd much rather have James Garner in the right back position than Patterson, and I'm not completely sure on Dewsbury Hall in a double pivot, but I think he's good enough to do it. I think the defensive effort's there, the pressing's there. I think he could do it, but I'd much rather us just get a right back in, to be completely honest with you. I think it's something that now we should prioritise over the next upcoming days. And yeah, I think it'd be very silly of us to go into this game with Michael Keane or Nathan Patterson starting for us, to be completely honest with you. I think it's a difficult thing, especially for a team like Leeds, who I do think are going to be willing to put the pressure on us. I think when a team puts pressure on players like Keane or like Patterson, they really struggle. So yeah, I think it'd be very silly to us to go into our first Premier League game of the season at a tough away ground like Leeds, even if Leeds are newly promoted and a lot of people are expecting them to go down. You don't want to be losing your first game to a team that are one of the favourites to get relegated, you know, so it's one of those. And the final bit of news is that Everton are ball number 6 in the north section of tonight's Carabao Cup 2nd round draw. But that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed, and follow myself on Twitter at Callum Brannan3. And I will see you all for the next video and or live stream that I am on.